very delighted to have Mona El-Bayoumi's work in our gallery. This is the third show that she's done for us, and she's also participated in a number of group shows for us. And we're always delighted because Mona is a very, very fine painter with an exceptional point of view. And so without any more ado, we'll let you hear her point of view, Mona El-Bayoumi.
This is my show, and I hope the work speaks for itself. You have to have young eyes or really good glasses to see some of the fine print. It's a subliminal seduction of spring. We are all very excited about the revolutions, and now we're not as excited, but we still are optimistic about what's happening and hope that things will keep progressing to a great Arab world, a great world in general, because after all, it's just one world, and the whole subliminal seduction is, the technique that they use in advertising. I remember taking a psychology class in high school, and it was so magical when I first found the words, the skull or the word sex written in the Coke commercial. So I'm trying to use that technique in a more primitive way to show my ideas about what's happened recently. And, flowers are something that everybody loves, so everybody gets attracted to flowers. Some pieces are a little bit more overt and in your face. And I don't know what else to say. Does anybody have any questions? Some of my pieces, somebody asked me when I first did when the revolution in Egypt happened, and I think it's better to be named the uprisings. What are you going to do? How are you going to portray the uprising? And we were very happy, and somebody even brought a cake with Egyptian flags to our house. It was just, we're cautiously excited, but very excited. Just to know, and one of my pieces is actually about the revolution that I did in 1982, and Sheikh Imam, I got to meet him, and he was always talking about Bahia, which is the name he gave to Egypt, and how she was impregnated with the revolution. So I tried to express that, but then a real uprising happened, so it was very exciting. But the first painting I did during that time was actually about Iraq, because that just came to me, and actually it just came to me, this painting, which is the one over here, because yes, there's dictators, but if everybody would leave everybody alone, I'm sure the people will get rid of their dictators. And Iraq is a very old, ancient culture, and they've seen things come and go. And one of the fathers at the school that I work at is Greek, and I said, oh, what's going on in Greece? He goes, oh, just a little time in history, it'll pass. And so when you see things like that, when you see it in that context, you realize that, we're just here for a little bit, but what we do to the world, the environment, to the people, everybody has this life, and, especially children, which, I have children's faces. Really, they should not be exposed to war, and it's such a crime what's happening, and it doesn't benefit really anybody except greedy people. And so that's another thing I tried to express. But anything else?
Yes, let's talk about a couple of those specific paintings, because people have been asking me some questions. Talk about the confined tangerines in the winter of 2012.
Yeah. Tangerines in Egypt in the winter are a big fruit, and you get to have them with the leaves on them, and it's really nice to go by them, and they're beautiful. So they express the winter to me very much. And oranges are more what I think of as Jaffa and Palestine, but tangerines to me are Egypt. And what's happened now in Egypt, everybody was so excited, and my parents are still in Egypt. And everybody's kind of like on lockdown now with what's happening. The Salafiyin are in the streets, and the Brotherhood. I don't believe in theocracies in any country, whether it's Iran, Israel, or Egypt. And they're just everybody's kind of confined. They're such beautiful fruits, and yet they're confined, and they could be, having a lot more fun not being contained.
Tell a little bit about Gorky's mother.
Oh, yeah. Gorky is actually painting here at the National Gallery, and his mother, he's Armenian, and the history of the Armenians is very sad, what the Turks did to them. I am part Turkish, and I don't take any credit for what they did to the Armenians, but it's there's some parallels with the Palestinians, and I played on the word too. And as you see, the woman, the figure is holding something, and the whole idea of two-state solution also. She's holding a state with a barrier wall, and everybody says, oh, why not just have a two-state solution? And, it would be compared to Bantustans in South Africa. And so it's a play on the word two, and it's a play on the whole Armenian and Palestinian experience.
Tell us a little bit also about Pretty in Pink.
Oh, Pretty in Pink, it looks like it's, just such a nice little love affair going on, and it just looks so benign. Everything's nice, and yet, if you look carefully, you will find the map of Israel, which to me is, I don't know, some people, I guess, look at it and they just might see geography, but for Arabs especially, any Arabs really, I don't think especially Palestinians, but of course Palestinians, it's unique to them, but when we see that map, I mean, it's such a crime, and so anyhow, it just shows the love affair going on between the government of the United States and the state of Israel, not to the benefit of the people, because billions go to the state of Israel, not to do well for Judaism, not to do well for really anything, because it's a satellite state that's causing a lot of commotion and a lot of just awful things to happen for people in their short lives.
The other one that everyone thinks is so beautiful is the one that we used on the invitation, which is We Are Being Pulled Apart.
Yeah. Well, some people think that, this is about the Arab League, and I did it in the late winter. And it's about the Arab League and how it was mainly Tunis and Egypt and Syria. Those were the main countries that were in the picture at the time, although Libya was too, but it kind of had already been pulled. And how a united Arab unit, a true democratic Arab League, would be such a great thing, but a lot of people want to control them and make sure that they're divided, and in doing whatever needs to be done for them in the area, and that's what that's about. I do want to say that the children have names of villages that were destroyed in '48, because a lot of people think that Israel was just created and nobody was there. There were many villages, and the cactuses were there around the villages, and they kept coming up because it's hard to kill cactus. But those are the name of villages that were destroyed, and the offspring of those villages are still around. Thank you.
Just wanted to ask about the painting. Is it pulling your hair, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is my friend and fellow docent at the Women's Arts Museum, and she gives a great tour. That's about Syria, and everybody wants a piece of Syria, and now Al-Qaeda's there, everybody's there, and yes, it is a dictatorship, and they need to do a lot, but everybody's pulling her hair this way, and they're ruining the country, and that was expressed in that painting. There is one about Arab Americans called O, and a lot of people during different times of history sell their souls, and I hope that nobody's 100% pure or anything, but I hope that history goes so quickly, and I just wish that everybody would stay true to themselves and not just sell your soul for just because of a fleeting moment. Like a lot of people now, they say, oh no, we never supported the Nazis, and they did because they were scared and things like that. But also, after 9/11, a lot of people changed their political colors, and now things are going a little bit more to the left in some ways, so now they're turning that way. And even in Egypt, they were like, oh yeah, we were so against Mubarak, And they were, in bed with him. And it's kind of just about the hypocrisy about people changing their colors during different times of history. So I had originally done a piece for that was about the barrier wall that Israel has to contain the Palestinians and make life hell for them. And it was during the uprising, and it was basically to tell the Palestinians, come on over, let's do all this together. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I appreciate it.